So, hello and welcome to the Yoga Therapy Toolbox. We are in Yoga Therapy tool number 6. And today, because I can, I'm in the studio and I've recorded this little video that I hope will be helpful for you. And I just finished the case study peer supervision, which is basically 5, 6 students. We get together. They are halfway through their case study practices, which means it's the part of the course where they're going to be doing case studies with real clients, and then they share their case studies with the group. And it's wonderful because we have these wonderful professional conversations. And one of the questions that comes up very often, and I thought to myself, oh, okay, this is great for that yoga therapy toolbox number 6. Um, how and what do you do when you are doing a class with somebody and that person starts talking about themselves, and they're very talkative and they have a lot to share, and they obviously need to let a lot of things out. They talk about their problems, they talk about what's going on, and it gets to a point when you don't know, you're half an hour into the class, into the session, and you think, do I tell her to shut up? Do I tell her to just be quiet? What do I do? Yes, how do I get into the practice, into the moving? And as a yoga therapist, you have to be very careful because you have to balance both. So, yes, absolutely, we have this meaningful conversation with them where we talk about, hey, how is it today? How are you feeling? Is there anything that you want to bring to the session that I should know about? And that sometimes can be the opening of a door of a very long conversation. In some cases, even a monologue. They might even burst into tears because they're clearly upset about something that's happened to them, and you're in the meantime, yes, talking to them, but also wondering and offering your therapeutic skills, applied somatic skills, which we do learn in our training. However, it gets to a point when you go, okay, I think we need to start with a session, but I don't know how to do this. So I'm going to give you this tool that I hope will be helpful. There's two of them. One of them, some of you already know. The one that I say, okay, if it gets to a point when there's a lot of talking and you're sitting in front of them in your lovely shala, your lovely studio, or sitting on a chair, both of you, if you're doing chair yoga, the first thing that I do is I start moving. So they're talking to me, and when the conversation is getting a little bit, obviously, not if they're telling you something that is really, really profound and heavy and has a lot of weight. But if they start talking about, yeah, because my girlfriend said this, because this and that, and da 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 da, then it's that point of the conversation where they're starting to get lost, yes, in their thinking process. And it becomes a little bit like bubbling away, blah, 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 blah. And then that is when I go, oh, right, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's start. This is a wonderful way. Let's start moving the shoulders while you tell me a little bit more about it. Yes, that's it. And it's incredible because if they're sitting in front of you, they start doing exactly what you're doing. Yeah. And you start, okay, so tell me more. Okay, yes. Oh, yeah, those shoulders, I can see they're tight. And what else did your girlfriend say? Right. Okay. And then what happened? I'll tell you what. Yeah, very good. And change direction. Wonderful. Yes. And then they start, yeah, because this, of course, just take a moment here, come to the center. Yeah. And then there's a little moment of silence. Okay. Let's go on to the side. Yes. We're still sitting down. We're not standing or anything like that. So we're not interrupting the flow of the talk, but we're doing this kind of movements. Yes. While we're talking, and they're moving. And then lengthen the legs. And as you lengthen the legs, you start moving the feet and you're talking. You keep on talking. So let them talk, but you are moving very gentle and they are moving as well. And then at some point, I might introduce the breath. So by saying, okay, take a moment, just one moment. Let's inhale and exhale while you move the feet very slowly. My talking becomes a little bit slower. They have to focus on the breath and silence arrives. So this is a technique that I use all the time and it's so effective. And also learning from um, studies of neurology and studies of working with human beings, moving and talking is a very therapeutic. Yes. So if your client is stuck in these thoughts all the time, ruminating, and you hear that they're repeating the same subject all the time, getting them to move at the same time as they're talking is extremely therapeutic, and it helps to regulate the nervous system. There are some techniques used for people who are stroke survivors, which is massage of the hands while talking. Yes. So movement, massage while talking, all of these things are really beneficial. Why? Because they connect the body with the mind. That person is talking and they're moving. So we are connecting the mind with the body. And that is where, wow, the aha moment can come. And eventually it will bring them to a more regulated state. So give this a try. The other way that I do it is by diverting the conversation to the physical. So I had a client this morning and we were talking about some problems that he had. And so when he was telling me about, yes, I feel that, right, I feel very anxious about this and about that. And then I said, well, this is why the physical practice is so important, because you need to feel more empowered. And when you feel strong physically, when you feel centered physically, you're going to feel stronger and more centered in your mind. So I saw his face going, right. And this is why it's important that and this is my work as a yoga therapist. We begin with the physical body and the breath. And then this will help you even with decision making, because you will feel more empowered internally. So let's begin with our movement and with the practice. Yes. So I've directed the conversation that they're having, and quite rightly so, because I know I'm not lying when I'm saying this, that if you're feeling out of balance, if you're feeling that you don't have control of your decisions, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling anxious, I know that when we strengthen the body, when we do some breath work, when we balance our standing practices, for example, when we can actually release some of the tension in the physical body, the message that the body is going to send to the brain is we are okay and we are regulated. So let's begin from the bottom up. Yes, from down up to the brain. I explain this to them. We start with the physical practice, understanding that, hey, this strengthening of the body is going to help the strengthening of your mind. The balancing of your body is going to help you balance your mind. So this is the second tool that I have. Maybe we should call this 6A and 6B, but I hope that you're able to apply them. Give them a try, both of them. It's really fun. It's really easy to integrate and to apply with your work, with your clients, and maybe perhaps in life. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.